Welcome back to day 2 of Inktober. If again you don't know the challenge is 31 days of the month of October, where will be you get yourself an ink pen of any sort. You can use fat, chunky, any kind of pen. You can even use felt tips. You can even use Copic markers. You can colour it, which I found out, which I did do yesterday. I won't show you the full image, but I'll give you a little bit of a flash there. Yeah, we inked one yesterday. That was the word was fish. Today's word is wisp. Now I'm not sure what most people think word wisp is. There has been an explanation up on the actual official Inktober website, and that is saying that a wisp is either a wispy piece of smoke, fire, or something wisping, sort of flapping away and turning to nothing, sort of a wisp. But also wisp can also mean a little person, little girl, or a wisp of a person, as it says on the website. I'm going to sort of try and do both, but I like the idea of the wispy fire or wispy smoke, or maybe a wisp, which, if you think of a willow's wisp, is a little creature or a little imp or something on that size. I'm going to be sort of going in between everything I'm saying, because I like all of it. I've got the references for this for today. I am going to be listening to some more of the comic from yesterday. It isn't Comic Storian, it is an actual official DC audiobook. If you've got any more audiobooks that you would like to let me know about, please let me know in the comments. If you're watching it back, you can still let me know, because there is 31 days, as like I was saying, that we're going to be doing it. We're only doing today, and today's word is wisp, which is not even a hard word. I don't know why people are having such a hard job with the word or the meaning of the word wisp. It's simple. It sounds what it sounds like, or to me anyway. And maybe it's because I'm in English. I don't know. Americans and the other countries that may have not known what that word is. There is, I don't know. Anyway, but we've got a plain piece of paper, which we always start on. We're not going to be sketching like I did last year. I didn't sketch last year, is what I'm saying. We are. What's going on there? No, I want downloads. Where was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, so we're not going to be using any pencil. Again, only ink pens. I am going to be using this 7.0. Also, I will be using my Copic markers to shade and to fatten and thicken lines where I need them. Trying to find my black pen. There's that one there. I do also have my other pens that if I get just get to the point where I only want to keep it as black and white, because yesterday I did want to colour it and I wanted to see what my Copic markers could do in like a one sitting, because the challenge is to do one drawing in one day and then do it again tomorrow and the day after and day after and day after. No, they say you can use pencil, but I think it's a bit of a cop-out, because of the very beginning you couldn't use pencil, and the wieners out there decided, I can't, let's get that in shot there, I can't draw without a pencil underneath. No, sketch. It comes from your mind, just let it flow. If it's crap, it's crap. If it's good, awesome. Most of mine are a bit in between, I think. What do you think? If you think you like them, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up. And if you want to keep joining in with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. Yes, so we're going to be getting this back on. I probably won't speak too much because I don't want to kind of explain what I'm doing. I just literally want to get it done, if that makes any sense to you. I want to like I said, get it. Oh no, I need my references in the comments. Yeah, so I won't be talking too much. I will be listening to this in the background. Again, if you've got any more that you want to let me know, audiobooks, please. I mean, you can get a cartoon up there. Maybe I can have it in the corner like that, but I don't want that to influence what I'm actually drawing. Not too much anyway, other than there's going to be superpowers from the DC. If you want to leave a comment, we are live. Let me get a second, because I can fiddle around with things and have you in the small box, in the big box, on the phone and things like that. But yes, like I said, I won't be talking too much on the stream like I normally do and explain what I'm doing. I'm just going to do with doing the drawing. Again, I will be answering questions, so if you've got them coming in, feel free to leave them there. But otherwise, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave it there so I can actually see it. And I'll probably use that for reference and on pictures, but leave them coming in. Otherwise, let's have a little bit of this. Well, I'll have a little bit of this for Inktober Day 2. If you're joining in, please let me know, and you can find me over on TikTok and also over on Instagram, where I'll be posting mine. If you want to do some TikTok duets, then let me know by doing a duet with yesterday's, with your first one, and then we'll get on with today's.
Corey hesitated, uncertain what to say. They had been lovers once, back when they had both served in the Teen Titans together.
WISP. I'm going to chat, but wispy, wisp. It's a wispy thing. I want to do a hand. Because a hand. You know what I mean? I feel like a hand is more with the fire coming out. But it's not a fire, it's more of a wispy, magical thing. Or maybe they're standing with a girl with a wisp next to her. That's what a lot of people have been doing. I like the hand idea. Hand and then wisps coming out of it.
Just as warm as he remembered. At times like this, his heart ached for what might have been, if they had somehow managed to overcome their differences. He felt a pang of regret. This wasn't going to make sense.
Last year I used my shadow. Maybe I should do that again. Ooh, that's not a bad idea actually. Get the hand in the right shape.
Her hurt expression made it clear that she had hoped for more from him. He was tempted to apologize, but what was the point?
Then I've got to individuate
he had a city
the fingers,
to protect,
and that's the hard point.
She had a galaxy to save. A clean break was
if I
best.
just draw it,
and
it's there.
New York. There's a big arms deal going down between the Carlino family and a local
That's the
mob.
kind of idea, and like the wisp sort of coming out like that. That makes any sense to you?
We won't keep you then.
She glanced at the metal globe floating beside her.
Sphere, take us to New Cronus.
The silver orb glowed brightly, enveloping the three superheroines in a preternatural ball of light.
Goodbye, Dick.
The three young women disappeared from sight. Even though the sphere itself was only slightly bigger than a baseball,
so I draw the wisp and then the hand after.
The others into its compressed interior.
No.
Nightwing knew from experience that the sphere was much larger on the inside than seemed possible. The orb blasted into space like a meteor in reverse.
Godspeed.
Nightwing found himself alone on the rooftop. He wondered if he would ever see any of the three women again. Donna had seemed convinced that
drawing it in my mind
space posed a deadly threat to all of creation. What if it was more than her team could handle? The cry came from a couple of blocks away. Nightwing responded instantly. He jumped back onto the ledge overlooking the alley below. A camouflaged gauntlet fired a grappling dart into the building across the way.
So much for my quiet evening.
Taking hold of the jump line with both hands, he hurled himself into the air.
That will be in front of it. Whereas that one is more onto the side and showing it's a person. I don't want to do a person, see, I just want to concentrate on the wisp.
Cut off from reality, a forgotten
Something more like this. But more maybe a smoke and a magical thing around it.
Their tentative farewell,
I like the hand there though.
Chances and unspoken
the hand seems too small. But when I draw it here, it won't be so small. I want the hand to almost just be the base of it.
For several years now, he had watched their
hand here, base.
with a vested interest. Time and again, he had seen them be given chance after
How do I make it
chance to make their
smaller?
union
I need to make it. What am I
only to
doing?
witness them go their separate ways in the end.
Kind of like that size. Maybe I should keep with that hand idea. Then he's definitely standing with the hand, with the person standing here behind, and maybe I should make that. Maybe I could make that a smoky skullish type thing.
His jaw set in determination.
Or maybe I could pick from many ideas that I've done before and do a illustration for my characters. For the Wisp, because he does have magical powers. So
the alley wasn't much, but Charlie Douglas called it home.
we'll worry about that afterwards. We'll have that as the out in the back, because I don't want to have to worry about the cloth. Ah, crap, man.
It looked like it hadn't
All right,
been emptied in weeks. Broken bottles and empty syringes littered the ground. The alley smelled of urine and rotting garbage. A cardboard box offered a meager amount of shelter. Rats and cockroaches scurried in the shadows. The flickering glow of a dying streetlight barely extended past the mouth of the alley. Charlie held his palms out to the two cops who had invaded his sanctuary.
I'm telling you, officers, ain't nobody else here.
An elderly African-American, he wore only a pair of soiled khaki shorts. His snow-white beard needed trimming. He stood at the mouth of the alley, trying to keep the two police officers out.
Especially not that guy you're looking for.
One of the cops grabbed Charlie by the throat and threw him up against the wall.
Shut your mouth, you lying scumbag. We know he's here.
Damn gutter trash.
The other cop clutched a printout of an all-points bulletin.
Trying to hide a wanted man.
He didn't hurt no one. He just wants to be left alone.
Charlie's appeal for mercy was wasted on Bloodhaven's finest.
Out our way, Gramps. This is police business.
Charlie crashed down under the soggy cardboard box that served as his shelter. The box collapsed beneath his weight, and he hit the ground hard.
This ain't right. They didn't have to.
Nano transmission positive. Ident verified. OMAC 85432. Activate.
Who?
He looked around anxiously, then realized with horror that the inhuman voice was coming from inside his own head.
What's happening to me?
The transmission activated the microscopic nanobots coursing through Charlie's bloodstream. Lying upon the crumpled cardboard, his body was suddenly racked by painful convulsions. He rolled into a fetal position as his arms and legs twitched spasmodically.
Oh, this is going to be a bad
Hey.
hand.
You all right, Charlie? Charlie? Charlie?
A blue ceramic glaze oozed from the homeless man's pores, spreading rapidly over his entire body. Skin and clothing disappeared beneath the turquoise veneer, which quickly hardened into an impenetrable shell. Charlie's heart pounded in panic as he helplessly watched the glaze flow upward toward his face. His bloodshot eyes rolled back until only the whites were visible. He writhed in pain. It felt like he was sweating razor blades.
It hurts. Please, help me.
The glaze covered his face, cutting off his cries. The man's bearded countenance was now hidden behind a featureless blue shell. A crest-like fin rose along the top of his cranium, the better to receive signals from Brother Eye. The man's frightened eyes were replaced by a single red lens that glowed electronically in the center of the cyborg's face. Gauntlets loaded with lethal weaponry formed around its wrists. A graphic representation of an unblinking human eye appeared on its chest, symbolizing its connection to Brother Eye. The intimidating figure bore no resemblance to the harmless vagrant who had occupied the same space moments before. OMAC number 85432 levitated off the floor of the alley, righting itself until it hovered vertically above the ground. Its luminous red eye scanned the interior of the alley.
What the hell? Holy cow, son of a...
The bullets ricocheted off the OMAC's smooth blue carapace, nearly winging the cop and his partner. His jaw dropped open, his eyes widened in fear.
Run!
His partner bolted from the alley, not waiting to see if the other policeman took his advice. Slipping from his fingers, the APB fluttered to the ground, all but forgotten in the cop's haste to get away from the sight of Charlie's terrifying metamorphosis. The cop's shoes splashed through the puddles in his way. Rousing an old wino was one thing. Hassling a bum who had turned into some sort of freaky sci-fi monster was something else altogether.
Wait for me, Bobby! God damn it, wait for me!
The OMAG ignored the cop's departure. Instead, it focused its blood-red scanner on the dumpster. Thermal sensors detected a heat signature hiding behind the rusty metal container. The readings matched the parameters of its assigned target with an 87.32% certainty.
Subject Cameron. Flanagan. Oldest. Designation. The Rat Catcher.
A frightened figure dashed out from behind the dumpster. A gas mask concealed his features. A metal cylinder was strapped to his back over a rumpled trench coat. A rubber hose connected the portable tank to the spray gun in the man's hands. Greasy blonde hair covered his scalp, and a carved wooden whistle dangled on a cord around his neck. He stared through the mask's protective lenses in fear and confusion.
Charlie! What happened to you? What are you?
A laser beam swept over the subject, verifying his identity.
Oh, wow.
Louis Flanagan was a convicted supervillain who had escaped from Gotham City's Arkham Asylum 73 days ago. Formerly employed as an exterminator, the deranged killer had switched sides years ago. Now he lashed out at humanity On behalf of his beloved
Well, it looks
vermin,
nothing like that, but it looks like a
but
hand.
not for much longer.
Subject confirmed.
Leave me alone!
The ratcatcher raised his spray gun and directed a stream of foul-smelling liquid at the hovering cyborg. The pungent smell of a chemical pesticide joined the other noxious odors filling the alley, but the poison had no effect on the OMAC. The liquid ran harmlessly down its polished shell. The ratcatcher backed away fearfully.
Help! Help! Somebody help me!
Desperate, he grasped his homemade whistle. In response, dozens of angry gray rats came rushing out of the shadows to defend him. They crouched between the ratcatcher and the OMAC, baring their teeth against the cybernetic invader. Tiny black eyes glittered with hostile intent as they screeched aggressively at the intruder. Flanagan was touched by his furry friend's loyalty, but what chance did a throng of bloodthirsty rodents have against a creature whose flesh and blood were hidden behind a bulletproof shell? The OMAC's single eye flashed, and a heat ray swept across the rats, setting them on fire. The air filled with the nauseating smell of burning fur and flesh, although the ratcatcher's gas mask spared him from the worst of the stench. And the OMAC was not bothered by such things. The ghastly sight and sounds tortured Flanagan.
Run, my friends!
Pesticide sprayed from the nozzle of his weapon as he tried to distract the OMAC from the fleeing rats.
Forget about me! Save yourself!
Charlie Douglas had been Flanagan's friend, but Charlie was gone now, replaced by OMAC number 85432. Mercy and compassion were gone too.
Targeting subject.
The heat ray blasted him head on, turning the gas-masked villain into a human bonfire. The flames enveloped the tank upon his back, and the explosion sprayed the alley with deadly shrapnel. Flanagan's charred, smoking bones were scattered all around. His skull landed in a slimy puddle.
Subject terminated.
The voice came from a rooftop overlooking the alley. Alerted by the sound, the OMAC rose higher until it looked down on the roof from over 100 feet in the air. It zoomed in on a young human male in a distinct blue and black costume. A bat-winged mask was glued to his face.
Subject Beta Grayson Richard. Designation Nightwing.
The human snatched a pair of shatterproof polymer eskrima sticks from spring-loaded pouches in the back of his uniform. He raised the sticks defensively, prepared to do battle. But the plastic batons would be woefully inadequate against the killer's cyborg. Nightwing lifted his right gauntlet to his mouth and keyed the communicator embedded there.
Donna, if you can still hear me, I could really use a hand down here.
The OMAC blocked the transmission with a jamming signal. The subject known as Nightwing was not actually a metahuman, but Brother Eye had listed the masked vigilante as a known associate and ally of the OMAC's superpowered prey. That made Dick Grayson a legitimate target for termination. The cyborg's eye glowed brightly once more, but before it could unleash its heat ray upon the human below, a new
Right,
set
I'm
of
done with that
instructions was
hand
beamed
for
into
now.
its brain.
I'm sure I'll do more to it, but that's looking good enough. But now I want to sort of concentrate on the wispy type of thing.
Elimination programs overridden.
So the fire behind it.
And justice confirmed.
Turning away from Nightwing, the OMAC rose higher into the sky.
Mass gathering initiated.
OMAC number 85432 left the city streets and rooftops far behind as it joined the hundreds of identical units now swarming the smoggy night sky above Bloodhaven. It took its place in the formation as the host of cyborgs flew away from Charlie Douglas's home, heading east out over the Atlantic. The OMAC had no qualms about leaving Nightwing alive. Its new programming took priority.
Project OMAC complete.
Hundreds of feet below, Nightwing gazed upward as the sky darkened with the corrupted technology of his mentor. He couldn't begin to count the number of OMACs flying away from the city.
Donna, whatever you're doing, I hope it's worth leaving Earth for.
Space Sector 2682, the Polaris system. The cosmic storm erupted without warning, tearing open a ragged gash in the space-time continuum. Although centered in deep space, space, outside the war-torn solar system, the expanding white void looked incalculably immense, even from light years away.
It looks that big from here. How huge is it really?
Kyle Rayner, the Earth-born hero known as Green Lantern, flew through space, propelled by the power of his emerald power ring. A luminous green aura protected his fragile mortal frame from the vacuum. His distinctive green and black uniform proclaimed his membership in the Green Lantern Corps, an elite interstellar police force composed of sentient beings from all over the universe, each given their own power rings that allowed them to visualize and create almost anything out of green energy. Kyle was only the latest human to be recruited by the Corps. It was a demanding job. He hadn't set foot on his native planet for months.
That storm couldn't have struck at a worse time. Like the Rand-Thanagar War was in crisis enough.
At the moment, Kyle found himself stuck in the middle of a raging interplanetary battle. The Thanagarians, intent on invading the planet Ran, had launched an armada, which was being met in space by the Ranians and their allies. Rand's appearance in the Polaris system had shifted Thanagar's orbit much closer to its sun, and devastated the planet. Rand claimed this was a miscalculation. The bellicose Thanagarians interpreted it as an act of war. The resulting conflict currently threatened to engulf this entire sector of space. Other spacefaring races had taken sides in the conflict. Allied with Ran were the Dominion, the warlords of Okara, Throne World, and the Kalawans. Siding with the Thanagarians were the Scions, the Tamaranians, the Gordanians, and the shape-changing Durlans. Now the armed fleets of the various alien species clashed in space between Ran and Thanagar, even as fierce battles were also being fought on the surfaces of both planets. Caught in the crossfire were refugee ships fleeing the conflict, bearing innocent civilians of all shapes and sizes. Blazing energy beams lit up space. Alien warships of wildly varied design blasted at each other with missiles and death rays. The colors of the destructive beams spanned the entire visible spectrum as they crisscrossed each other across the void. Explosions detonated along the hulls of unlucky vessels. Flickering force fields saved other ships from destruction, at least for the moment. Smaller fighters and remote-controlled drones darted between massive dreadnoughts the size of Terran aircraft carriers. Advancing scout ships collided with floating zero-gravity mines. Death and destruction spread across the starways.
This is insane.
Kyle looked about in frustration. Not even his power ring could keep the warring fleets apart. All he could do was try to protect the refugees and keep the casualties to a minimum.
Especially since the Thanagarians and the Ranians are pretty much indistinguishable from each other physically. They both look perfectly human. No offense, Kilowog.
None taken.
A native of the planet Bolovax Vix, the veteran Green Lantern that Kyle addressed resembled a large pink warthog and had the personality of an army drill sergeant. His own power ring gleamed upon a meaty four-fingered fist.
Just remember the Corps has to stay neutral in these losers shooting match.
Kilowog turned his beady red eyes toward the growing space-time rift.
Besides, it looks like we got a bigger problem to worry about all of a sudden.
No kidding.
Kyle eyed the cosmic storm and showed no signs of abating anytime soon. Instead, a voracious anomaly was growing before their very eyes, swallowing up distant stars.
Oh, batteries.
How big is that thing going to get?
Fortunately, the two Green Lanterns had allies of their own. A handful of unaligned heroes, mostly of Terran origin, accompanied Kyle and Kilowog as they tried to save as many lives as they could from the carnage spreading across the Polaris system. The mysterious cosmic storm suddenly added a whole new dimension to their mission.
Rand assures me that this new phenomenon is not of their doing.
Adam Strange spoke via the communications array in his crested space helmet. A jetpack carried him toward Kyle.
Not even Rand's technology is capable of anything like that storm. Tell that to Thanagar. We're trying.
Hawkman soared through space beside Hawkgirl. The mystical nth metal in their boots and harnesses allowed them to fly through the vacuum unharmed. Their feathered wingspans glided on solar winds. Transparent breathing apparatus were clamped over their beaked metal helmets. Hawkman swung a charged energy mace at a glowing piece of radioactive shrapnel, batting it away from Kyle and the others. Carter Hall was a traditionalist when it came to weaponry.
That's not what they want to hear.
Hawkgirl gripped a blaster in one hand and an old-fashioned crossbow in the other. The Hawks had come all the way from Earth on a peacekeeping mission that had proved too little too late. Now they could only try to cope with the hostilities like everyone else. Kyle wasn't surprised by the Hawks' failure. The Thanagarians had a martial culture that had seldom missed an opportunity to go to war. They already blamed Rand for the catastrophic shift in their planet's orbit. He had no doubt that they would try to pin the inexplicable storm on their enemy as well. Here they come. A Thanagarian troop carrier opened up its bay doors, disgorging a squadron of armed wingmen. They glided through space on gray metal wings. Laser rifles fired at Kyle and his companions. Kyle's ring picked up their leader's transmissions.
Sighting of Adam Strange confirmed. Target the champion of Rand and all who stand with him.
Damn, Strange is definitely Rand's greatest hero. The wingmen aren't going to miss a chance to take him out of the picture and score a huge propaganda victory for Thanagar. But not if I have anything to say about it. We expatriate Earthmen need to stick together.
Kyle's power ring was limited only by his willpower and imagination. Inspired by the Hawks, he visualized an array of ancient weaponry, spears and battle axes, composed entirely of concentrated emerald energy, materialized from out of nowhere. The glowing green weapons assaulted the metal wings of the nearest Thanagarian soldiers. Laser beams bounced off the Green Lantern's protective aura.
Thanks for watching my back.
Adam Strange saluted Kyle. He relied primarily on his jetpack to evade the blasts of the other wingmen. His ray gun sliced off the hand of a winged sniper, causing the Thanagarian's weapon to go spinning off into space. The beam from the ray gun instantly cauterized the sniper's wrist, leaving him alive but unarmed.
If only there was some way to reason with these people.
Don't waste your breath.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl had first acquired their feathered wings and nth metal technology from a Thanagarian spaceship that had crash-landed on Earth over 4,000 years ago. But that didn't mean they were taking Thanagar's side in this war.
Trust me, I know how these birds think.
The reincarnation of an ancient Egyptian warrior, Carter Hall was in his element as he lashed out at the oncoming soldiers with his huge spiked mace. With his hairy chest protected only by 2 leather straps and the nth metal's protective aura, he resembled an unusually barbaric angel. The charged mace knocked the rifle from a wingman's grip, even as Hawkman elbowed another soldier in the gut. Not for the first time, Kyle was glad that the brutal warrior was on their side. His female cohort hadn't completely given up on peace yet.
Stand down!
Hawkgirl confronted a pair of wingmen advancing on her. A 2-piece green uniform left her slightly more covered up than her bare-chested partner. She took aim with her blaster.
Lay down your weapons!
You have no authority over us, Earth whore! You're not fit to wear the uniform of a wingman!
The winged soldiers converged on Hawkgirl, wielding double-edged thrusting daggers. Despite the space-age technology at their disposal, the predatory Thanagarians preferred edged weapons and hand-to-hand combat whenever possible.
Earth whore?
Those were obviously fighting words. Unencumbered by heavy body armor, Kendra Saunders was twice as maneuverable as the 2 wingmen, as was proven by the ease with which she soared clear of her attackers, and then expertly looped around to come up behind the soldiers, firing both weapons simultaneously. The blaster took out the wingman on the right, while a bolt from her crossbow punched a hole in the other soldier's armor, spearing him in the hip.
And I think the proper term is wing woman.
Before Hawkgirl could finish off her opponents, however, a large green tentacle wrapped around her, pinning her wings to her sides. The tentacle was one of several extending from the impenetrable shell of a large Durlan bioship.
Carter!
The tentacle started to pull her into the ship's open maw.
I'm stuck to this gooey thing!
I'm coming!
Hawkman swooped toward her, his mace held high. He swung at the tentacle with all his might. The spiked weapon tore clear through the clinging pseudopod, only a few feet above Kendra's head. A slimy green ichor spewed from the bisected ends of the tentacle. The severed tip of the tentacle was still wrapped around her, held fast by some sort of adhesive excretion. She wriggled within the gummy coils, struggling to free herself. droplets of green goo splattered her helmet.
I hate being in space.
Unable to fly at will, she floated like a sitting duck. Spotting her predicament out of the corner of his eye, Kyle willed a protective emerald bubble around the Hawks to give them a bit of breathing room.
Hang on.
Hawkman used both hands to peel the lifeless tentacle away from his partner. He hurled the sticky limb away in disgust.
Thanks, handsome.
Kendra's wings spread out behind her as she wiped the bioship's blood from her beak.
My pleasure, beautiful. You can make it up to me later.
The two had been fated lovers since the days of ancient Egypt, finding each other again and again over the course of hundreds of past lives.
Talk about a long-term relationship. I can't even make things work for one lifetime.
Kyle let his force bubble dissolve, now that the Hawks were free to defend themselves once more. Taking advantage of a momentary lull in the action, Kyle scanned the cosmic storm.
Ring? What the hell is that? A black hole?
Negative. Presently 95 million miles in diameter. The phenomenon defies conventional explanation. Possibly a manifestation of... error. Analysis incomplete.
Terrific.
Were all the energy blasts and ruptured star drives interfering with the scan? Or was the unnatural storm just too weird for the ring's artificial intelligence to cope with? Kyle opened up a line to another possible source of information.
Docs, Kyle here. Does Legion have any ideas?
Legion, short for Licensed Extra-Governmental Interstellar Operatives Network, was a private security outfit that kept the peace between various client planets for a sizable fee. Its leader, Rill Dox, was a green-skinned Calawan whose superintelligence was almost matched by his arrogance. Kyle disliked dealing with him, but right now he needed all the help he could get. Dox's voice emerged from Kyle's ring.
If you could keep those flying barbarians from upsetting the balance of our Calawan liquid servers, I may have an answer before we're all dead.
Hey, we're trying our best here.
Yes, you've made your point very clear in the past. Green Lantern Corps is responsible for the protection of the universe free of charge. It seems you'll get what you paid for.
There was bad blood between the Corps and Dox's organization, but now was not the time to take Legion to task for its more mercenary...
Mercenary, blah, 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 blah. That is a good story. That has kept me going for a while. How long have we been going? I don't know, but I'm going to press record right now. Because I was dumb and forgot to put a timer on that, because I don't know how long we've actually been going for. Really, really hope that's not been more than 50 minutes, but I really doubt it that has been. And again, it could have been. I don't know. We'll see once I've done the recording, because I am editing all of these and putting them all into one giant video that will be released at the end of the week, end of the month. And so you can see every single one if you're not able to watch every day. Again, this is a thing we were doing every single day. And oh my god, that is exactly what I thought about when I thought WISP. I mean, I was thinking hand, and I was like, how could I make it come out of the hand? Because I didn't want to do that kind of standing, a little girl, whatever. I really like the idea of a fiery hand. Now, is that fire, or is that a wisp of smoke, or is that something? I don't know. But like I said, I tried to use all of the references that I looked at to sort of go for the word wisp. These were the only things that sort of came up to me. But yeah, I'm going to be colouring this one again. I'll do that in the evening, like I did yesterday. Because I kind of want to take my time on doing that. But I think with a little bit of tweaking here and there, this is pretty much done. I think. Because I'll be putting some colour in. So there's no need to do too much darkening here and there. But I'm going to do a little bit more. But get on with that. But if you're still watching, guys, hopefully you are enjoying. And yeah, we'll keep going. Let's take a quick picture of that.
Instead, Kyle took a moment to contact the Corps headquarters.
Just in case, because I can pause that again.
That you, Rainer?
Because I am planning on digitizing every single episode from last year and this year. going to set that as a task, but I've got to get myself a new PC first. So if you're interested in the polymer clay or the illustrations from the previous streams and you want them printing out on a A4 or something larger, so you can have it as a poster, or if you want it as a phone background, then I can convert it and put it for you so you can have it as a phone wall or background, like I've done for my pictures here. Many other different ways, but if you're interested in magnets, or if you would like to own or purchase anything from a fridge, then let me know. I can't show you the fridge because the camera's in a real perfect place, but check out on other videos on the Creation Station playlist for that. I don't know what I'm doing. Taking a picture. I'm taking a picture for TikTok. Don't forget to tune in for the latest TikTok later. But I kind of like that dude. I didn't want to do an evil thing, but I wanted to have the bony hands. That I'm now thinking about it. It looks like something in the past. Like that's definitely a beard. Okay, that is a beard. All right, it's a boulder beard, dude, and it's coming out of hand, a wisp of smoky hand or something like that. But yeah, it's a real chill picture. Kind of like, I don't know if I should pick these up as an ears or what, but it still definitely does need a little bit more detailing on it, because it's still in the sketch stage of inking. But I like that. That's good. Actually, I'm gonna get. No, I can't. Right. Okay. Let's get back to what we were doing, shall we? I don't need that anymore, so I can have that. Oh, let's get on. Let's look for these greys. I am thinking blue, because I did like that blue, and blue is mostly my favourite colour, and I don't want it to be like a fire, you know, a raging fire. Maybe it's just a blue flame coming from a hand. Is it evil? Is it good? Who knows? But it makes me think of the other, or Lothar, the character I can't say its own name of, the other, or thing like that. But I could go with a light blue, like a real light blue. Nice blue greys, green grey. That's kind of where I want to go. But I'm not going to be colouring it. Oh, there's another nice blue that would go there. That's the kind of what I'm going for. But I want to tone it first. So we got the blacks. That is grey. There we are. Damn it! What did I do with all these greys? I haven't got many greys. They're weird, different coloured greys, and I don't want to use too dark of a colour. We're still keeping it light. We will need some pink. That's not skin colour. I'm going for Caucasian because I know the reference. I don't want to be racist. I think skin white, pink, peach. And if I couldn't do that, I would have to have. I mean, that's the colour-ish that I normally mix. It's kind of there. I mean, it's ishy. Blue and yellow. I haven't got much yellow, so maybe a green. Mix a little bit of green in there. Let's get those yellows. Cream could help. Again, not colouring it, not yet. I'll do all of that off stream, record it, and so I don't have to do it live because an hour or two is long enough. Alexa, set me 40 minutes on a timer.
40 minutes, starting now.
Yeah, that's not to do the colouring. I do set timers, but not so many, but only so I can record. When I'm recording offline, when I'm using the Share Factory, which you can see me using right now, which is on the PS4, there is something going to be coming out for the PS5 as well. I'm looking forward to that, but I probably won't be getting a PS5 before I get a PC. Kind of priorities, like a PS5, but do I need it? And then again, do I need a PC if I've got a PS5? We'll see what the capacity is, because if one of the two, I need editing and I need gameplay. So I got both with an Xbox and PS4, but they're kind of, well, the 4 was definitely not, but the Xbox is kind of like, oh well, played all the EA best titles. What else you got for me? Nothing? We'll say. I need light grey. A warm grey. Warm. We're going with greys instead of blacks for this. So let's get going. Copic markers. Brand is Touch Blum. Definitely check them out.
Like Kyle, Guy Gardner originally hailed from Earth. Guy was on Oa, where the Guardians resided.
Roger that, Guy.
Kyle flew alongside a Thanagarian battlecruiser, searing off its laser cannons.
Any word from the top?
The Green Lantern Corps had been created by the Guardians of the Universe, an enigmatic race of immortals who were believed to be the oldest sentient species in the cosmos. If the Guardians couldn't explain where the cosmic storm had come from, Kyle wasn't sure who could.
Nah, I'm still waiting for them to say something. But they're holed up in their citadel, keeping to themselves.
Kyle heard the impatience in his voice. Guy had always had an abrasive personality.
Guess that leaves me calling shots around here. The little blue men won't step up to the plate. The Lanterns need a leader with balls.
Classy.
Right now, there are more important things than class.
Can't argue with that.
Kyle spotted a disabled refugee ship drifting toward the furious crossfire between 2 Okaran and Tamaranian warships. The defenseless vessel was
Thinking about where the light's coming from as well.
So Green Lantern snagged onto it with a lasso of emerald energy and began dragging it to safety. He had spotted an uninhabited moon nearby. Perhaps he could park the ship there for the time being?
Watch out.
The voice sounded in Kyle's brain. Kyle looked up to see another Durlan bioship closing in on him. Humongous tentacles reached out for him, but Kyle couldn't defend himself without setting the imperiled refugees adrift once more. He put on speed, trying to get away from the living ship, but the tentacles were rapidly gaining on him. He looked for Kilowog, only to discover that his fellow Green Lantern was busy rescuing another ship. Damn it. Couldn't the Durlan see that he was on a mission of mercy?
Don't worry, Kyle. I've got your back.
Captain Comet zipped between Kyle and his pursuers. Although old enough to be Kyle's father, the veteran space adventurer was still in fighting trim. Adam Plague was a mutant from Earth, born with the mental and physical abilities of a man evolved 100,000 years beyond his peers. The furrows on his brow deepened as he repelled the bioship with a powerful telekinetic burst. The greedy tentacles spasmed as Captain Comet attacked the ship's own living brain and nervous system. The Durlan fighter's organic nature rendered it particularly vulnerable to Comet's powerful psionic powers. It turned and fled, seeking easier prey elsewhere.
That's more like it.
Blake flew nearer to his fellow Earthman. His wavy brown hair had turned gray around the temples. A stylized comet was imprinted on his bright red spacesuit. Psychic energy crackled around him, allowing him to survive the vacuum of space. He latched onto the refugee ship with his telekinesis, lightening the load on Kyle.
Let's get these people to safety. Sounds good to me.
Although Kyle was starting to suspect that there was no real safety to be had anywhere in the galaxy. Glancing back over his shoulder at the cosmic storm, he had to wonder what the Guardians were up to right now. The gleaming citadel rose from the vast metropolis covering the surface of the planet Oa, headquarters of the intergalactic Green Lantern Corps. Within the citadel, the Guardians of the Universe kept their own council as they watched over the cosmos, just as they had for over 10 billion years. The Guardians were blue-skinned dwarves clad in flowing red robes, which were adorned with the emblem of the Green Lantern, a stylized pictograph of the central power battery, which was the ultimate source of power for all of the Green Lantern's rings. August white tresses were swept back from the imposing brows of the male Guardians, while the female smooth craniums were completely hairless. Defying gravity, they hovered around the perimeter of a great domed hall, circling a holographic representation of the universe that filled nearly the entire chamber. The only illumination came from the glowing display itself. Virtual starlight played upon the wizened features of the immortal Guardians. At the moment, the display was centered on the inexplicable cosmic storm raging beyond the Polaris system. The voracious white void expanded beneath the Guardian's gaze, spreading out in all directions. Unfathomable energies surged and cascaded throughout the storm.
The war between Rad and Thanagar seems to have become a most unfortunate catalyst.
Lines of worry creased the female Guardian's azure brow.
Their conflict spreads wide throughout the sector and beyond. Many outlying worlds are taking advantage of the unrest to secure their own independence and expand their spheres of influence. Numerous species have taken sides, tearing the region apart.
A male Guardian, whose name was Ganthet, picked up the discussion.
And yet the war, as destructive as it is, pales before the threat posed by the anomaly outside the system. Look closer, my brothers and sisters. This goes beyond mere interstellar conflict. Entire planets have been jolted from their orbits, others destroyed. The cosmic balance, the very fabric of existence, has been shifted. For the first time in history, Oa is no longer at the center of the universe. This tear in reality is.
Indeed. Someone or something has purposely changed the nature of the cosmos.
To what end?
Ganthet shook his head.
I do not yet know.
Ganthet regarded the expanding rift with apprehension. Like his fellow Guardians, he had witnessed many cataclysmic changes over the course of his immortal existence. For countless millennia, they had worked to preserve the order and harmony of the universe, with the Green Lantern Corps as their sword and shield. Always before, no matter the danger, they had managed to hold the creeping forces of entropy at bay.
That's enough dark, I think.
Now, however, Ganthet felt an unfamiliar sensation chill the marrow of his ancient bones.
I'm gonna get overzealous with it because I do want to colour it. So I want to use the colours that I've got. Do I do it now or do I do it later? Because we've already had, you've had your hour or so creating the Inktober. I'm going to shut that thing up so I don't have to talk over it. So yeah, like I said, I only wanted to add a little bit of shade with it. I'll put some shade onto it. I didn't want to, I am going to be colouring it, but I am going to be doing it off stream because I want to sort of take my time with it. I don't feel like I'm rushed when I use the Copic markers to colour. I feel a little bit rushed, especially if I'm doing it all in one day. That is the thing for Inktober, but I will be putting them out over on the Twitch channel, and I am also recording everything I do offline as well as online. Like I said, this one here is live. The live part is always only going to be the point where I've drawn it out without any pencil and used a few references, of course, because I just pulling everything from my mind is just too much task, especially if I'm live. But there is one picture, and the word again was WISP. We started with the word WISP here. And we started with this pen, just outlined a hand, which we used a reference for. Then we got into a bit more of a wispy, sort of flamey, smoky, sort of wispy things with the single pen. And all we've done really is gone over a few parts with this this Copic marker, but in the grey ink. And then we've gone darker. Instead of using a bold black, which I normally do, but a bold black is very... I think it would have took away from the wispy part of what I was trying to create here. So that's why I've only used these two different grade colours. Or gradient of grey, should I say. How many shades of grey have you got in your collection? I've got 4. Actually, that one's black, so yes, I've got 4. Not 50, just 4 shades of grey for me and a black. That'll do me lovely. With an ink pen 7.0. This is Inktober. Thank you very much for watching. Click the links that will appear if you want to check out yesterday's. Again, I have coloured that one, but I won't let you see the full thing because I'm putting out a video. I did put it out on TikTok, guys, so don't forget to check that out. If you have enjoyed today's, or if you've missed the very beginning, when this stream ends, it will be available again. I will leave some links up in the top corner if you're watching back. And if you want to watch anything else going from last year, Inktober, then you can check out the Creation Station for other illustrations and Inktober2020 playlist if you want to go and check out what else I did last year for the different prompts. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day, and the third word, because we've got 31 days altogether. So this is going to be a long task. I'm really am enjoying it. From last year, remembering it and going straight into it this year has been awesome. So yeah, I need to go and walk my dog and have myself some tea. So I'm going to go and do that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to ink all of this. I say not ink it. I'm going to be colouring it all in. But again, I'll be recording all of that and releasing that at the end of the month, where I'll be putting all of these pictures in one giant. This is my every day of Inktober. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, all the 31, all in one video. But if you want to join me again live and leave some comments and choose an audiobook for me to listen to, what's your favourite? Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like and hit that subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications, because this is my entry for Inktober, and later on will be my coloured one as well. But you'll have to find out how it looks in another video. Bye for now.